So now I'll move on and talk a little bit about what are some of the effective elements of developing a strong project management organization. I'll start with people. You know, we all know that people are the single most important variable to a successful organization. One of the tenets that we subscribe to when building our organization is that attitude is as or more important than qualifications. You can teach people skills, but you can't, it's very difficult to change people's attitudes. And that's particularly important when you want to form an effective culture that's going to lead to long-term success. Culture is something that is going to form, and you can either shape it and have it form in a purposeful manner, or it's going to happen by accident. We spent a lot of time within the Long Harbor Operations Organization building what we call, fostering a culture of teamwork and empowerment that makes Long Harbor Operations a great place to work. And those of us who helped formulate, that part of our purpose statement really, believed in it, and us as leaders took explicit steps to ensure that we did that. The point is you need to spend time on purpose building a culture and not just focus on immediate results. Building a collaborative environment regardless of contractual boundaries. So many of us in the room here are used to working on project teams that comprise of employees of multiple different companies. And what you try to do when you're building a project organization is bring them together in a way that is collaborative. For a while, during the engineering phase of the Long Harbor project, I was the lead on the automation team. So we built an integrated team, about 15 people or so, and it was a very collaborative environment. We set out on purpose to build a collaborative team, and the results were fantastic. We had a vendor rep come in and spend some time with us. He was with us for about 2 weeks, and he said to me when he left, he said, "I've never really seen anything like this." He said, "I can't tell who works for which company." He said, and he said, it's great. He said, I wish more projects that I would visit would do this. So, that team performed very, very well, and I think one of the main contributors was the collaborative approach we took. I'm going to talk for a minute about incentives. So like I said, when you're bringing multiple companies together, if the contract isn't structured properly, it can motivate the wrong behavior and motivate divisive behavior. In ramping up, the plant in Long Harbor, our PMO is because because we had so many projects and they get initiated so quickly, and the expectation was to turn them around so quickly, we didn't have the time to initiate a procurement process for a contract every single time we needed to get some work done. So we went out for a contract to essentially do almost all of our construction work. And the problem is we didn't know what the scope was. So we ended up awarding a contract, a time and material contract without a defined scope. So any of you who deal with contracts know that's potentially a recipe for disaster. But one important thing that we did was we built in what we call the accountability clause, which was really a way to streamline and align our interests. And so it was basically a scorecard of schedule, budget, safety, quality, and administrative reporting to make sure that we motivated the right behavior out of that contractor that we needed. And at our meetings, I would say, I want to pay you a bonus, because if I'm paying you a bonus, that means you're performing well. And if we've designed this contract appropriately, that means that our collective team is performing well, which means the business is performing well. And that was very successful. Also, one other item on incentives for employees, forgetting about contractors and contract alignment, one of the things that I've found has been very, very instrumental in motivating the right behavior is if you have the ability to build in a variable component of your employees' compensation and align that with team KPIs. I'm not a huge fan of individual KPIs because that can motivate the wrong behavior. It can force people to act in their own best interest instead of the best interest of the organization. But if you design a good set of KPIs and you can predict what you need in advance and you can link that to people's compensation, it doesn't really matter, it does matter, but the amount of their compensation that's on the table is not as important as the fact that you give them some power over what their paycheck is going to be at the end of the day. We used to joke that whatever gets built into that scorecard is going to get done, because people will feel very, very motivated. Even if it's a few $100s on the line, people are very motivated to do that.